Hello students, welcome to this new video on systems and mechanical engineering. This video is from the unit number 5, that is manufacturing processes. And this unit we are going to learn about the various aspects associated with the manufacturing of the various components. Specifically, manufacturing, this particular term is associated with making of the various kinds of components. That may be metal components, that may be plastic components, or that may be the components which are associated with different materials. Now, basically, if you see this particular figure, this will explain you that how the raw materials, that may be iron, that may be glass, that may be polymer, undergoing certain kind of processing to convert it into the useful products like kettles, telephone parts, aircraft parts, etc. Now here, as far as with the help of basic scientific principles which are responsible for converting these raw materials from its initial state to the final useful state of the product. Uh, with the help of application of the scientific principles, it can be converted into certain kind of technology. Okay, and with the help of that one, this kinds of products can be uh, manufactured uh, as far as certain practical problems of the society and need of it is considered. Okay, so that is the thing. Another important thing is that now we are going to see that in this particular session, the first manufacturing method which was used generally from so many years and still it is going on, and that is nothing but the casting process actually. But if you refer the old manufacturing, you can say the things, then the sand casting is a very popular method. This is included in your syllabus, and I'm going to explain this one in very short, you can say, period. It's basic only as far as you are the first year engineering students. So if you see this particular picture, it will be giving you certain kind of things that here something is uh, whatever the student, whatever these people, they are carrying something. As far as this particular, that whatever the carrier, these are the various tools which are used when they are pouring certain kind of materials on it. Okay, so that sand casting is the process in which a cast is formed. That is nothing but from the with the help of a molten metal. Okay, in a sand mold. So the metal which is to be melted with the help of, no doubt about it, a huge amount of heat which will be obtained with the help of a furnace. It can be used to produce the range of sizes from grams to hundreds of tons. Okay, we will see again some of the examples in the next slide, but in simple language actually, by melting the metal, it will be poured in a cavity, and that cavity takes or the cavity is having the shape of a required product. Okay, so that is the sand casting. How this sand casting process takes place, that I will be explaining you, and this is this figure which is giving you the various steps involved in this particular sand casting process. uh, first step here is pattern making. Now pattern is nothing but whatever the part, if you wanted to manufacture, suppose such a kind of structure. Okay, like this one. So the cavity is of this particular shape, so that can be manufactured, that can be possible one. uh, if at all it is having certain kind of structure like this one. Okay, it is somewhat, I'm talking about this one only. So, and here is the somewhat center line, that is some cavity is available one here. Okay, like that one. But the hole is available one, you can see here, and this is it is suppose a section like this one. Section lines you might have studied in case of your engineering, you can say, uh, drawing background, as far as the your maybe technical terms in case of 12 standards are considered one. And up here what is happening, so this pattern has to be manufactured actually. The patterns are manufactured with the help of a wooden, or maybe with the help of certain kind of plastic material that may be used one. Some patterns are of mechanical metal kind, no problem. So this is the important thing which takes which will give you the shape of that particular, it is useful one to create that cavity course. Now here whatever the hole you are going to observe, here another such a kind of small thing will be prepared one, which is having it's just taking its section like this one, which will be put over there after cavity, so that the after pouring the molting metal, it will be removed one, so that the hole can be formed in it. It is known as core making. And getting system for this one, certain kind of instruments are used one. We are not having the study of that particular instruments here, like suppose such a kind of, you can say, I'm just drawing it like this one, such a kind of, you can say, a component which is available one, just like a spoon like structure, but it is a very flat one. This is used one for creating the gating system, sprue and all that things. What is that, that I will tell you later on. So such a kind of instruments are used one for that one. Now after making this pattern, with the help of this pattern, the sand which is available when it is having different properties in it, because the sand which is available when in the rivers, that is not directly used here, it is having certain other properties that sand is available one, and which will be used one for creating this mold, which is a very important part of the sand casting process. After creating this pattern and mold, the metal for with which we just wanted to uh, we just wanted to, 1 minute, okay, we just wanted to make the component, that metal, that may be aluminum, that may be iron, that may be copper, or that may be any kind of material that is melted with the help of certain kind of furnaces which are available one, and its liquid form, okay. And that melted metal with the help of crucibles, with the help of that tongs which are available one, it is poured into this mold cavity, okay. Then after that one, there is certain period which can be taken for the solidification and cooling of that particular molten metal inside that cavity. And yes, and this particular molten metal, after solidifying and cooling, whatever the things which are available one, as far as, because it is a molten metal, so the gases will be formed through the gating system, as well as through that this particular various sprues which are available one, it will be taken out, so that to avoid the voids and all that thing, so that the um, uh, quality of that, to maintain the quality of whatever the product which is formed after solidification. Then after this one, here this the things can be finished as far as product sand casting is considered one. But if there is any another heat treatment which is required one, that may be carried out, and after that the cleaning and finishing of the component will takes place, and after inspection it will be just available for the dispatch to the person which who is in need of that one or the other factory. Now this is the figure which is showing you what do you mean by the various components of this particular casting sand casting process. This is the, there are two flasks. This is nothing but the first one, upper casting flask, and this is the second one, lower casting flask. These are made up of maybe the metal or maybe wooden. Generally, it is a metal component actually, because it can withstand things. But in some cases, for the small components, a wooden block can be used. One. This is known as these are the different things. That is cope and drag. This is the upper part is cope, and the lower part is drag. That is the portion as far as this upper casting flask and lower casting flask is considered one. And this is the parting line which is available here, okay. This is the whatever you are observing here, this is nothing but the mold cavity. So here for these case actually, whatever such a kind of pattern was used, like this one, such a kind of pattern was used as far as for manufacturing of this particular component, like this one, okay. And this is the center line which is used one to show the, this is the pattern actually, this is nothing but what, pattern, this is the pattern. Try to remember this, this is the pattern actually, okay. This is the pattern which is used one. And then after that, these risers, which can accommodate certain kind of gases, which will be just important one to get it down in a pour. This is the pouring cup through which the molten metal can be poured through this particular stuff like this one here inside this particular cavity, so that it will travel throughout this particular risers, throughout this particular gating system which is available one here, and it will fill in this particular cavity. But here why this core is provided one, because it will use certain kind of it is not possible to have here in this pattern, so it will be possible one to create a hole with the help of this core. For that purpose it is available here. So these are the flasks. This is the runner through which the molten metal can flow towards the cavity. Riser is provided one so that the gases or maybe air bubbles can be accommodated here to avoid the voids inside this final product which can be obtained after solidification or that things. So that is very important one. Try to remember this particular things, and these are the very cast metal in the cavity. This already I have told you. Here there are two pins which can be fixed one. This is the first one and this is the second one, which is keeping intact this particular cope and track, that is the upper casting flask and lower casting flask. That is very important one. And parting line, because parting line is very important one, which will give you or it can convert this particular component into two halves along this particular parting line. Okay, so this is all about what are the various components and what is this is the down screw through which is a very nearer part as far as this pouring basin or pouring cup is considered one. So try to remember this particular nomenclature and what is the use of each and everything whatever I have explained it now. Okay, and this is the sand through with the help of which this whole thing is nothing but the mold along with the mold cavity, and which is used one for making this particular component. So this is again the same thing is explained here. What are the various casting terms? What do you mean by the flask? That already have explained you. What do you mean by the pattern? That already have explained you. Then what do you mean by parting line, molding sand? How it is available one. Yes, these are the types of sands which can be used one. Then what do you mean by the core? It is a separate part of the mold made up of sand or maybe the another material which is used to create openings and various shaped cavities in the castings. Pouring basin through which molten metal can be poured. Screw, this is the passage through which the molten metal can enter into the uh, um, uh, from the pouring basin reaches the mold cavity. And KD is nothing but the channel through which the molten metal enters the mold cavity. Runners through which the molten metal carried to the screw that already have to the gate. That is very important. But chaplets are not shown in this particular figure actually, that to support the cores inside the mold cavity to take care of its own weight and overcome the forces. That is very so that it will be intact with the mold cavity. Riser already I have told you it will be used one for to avoid the shrinkage and uh, uh, so means maximum shrinkage, as well as it will be helpful in solidification of the uh, casting. Vents, small openings in the mold to facilitate the escape of air and gases. Vents are not shown as far as this particular the earlier figure was considered one. Okay, here the no vents as far as vents are available one. But the same kind of thing can be possible one as far as riser is considered one. Okay, so these are the things. Try to remember this one. Again the same steps which are available one: pattern making, core making, molding, melting and pouring and cleaning. These are the basic steps which are available one. What are the advantages of this particular sand casting? It will be capable of manufacturing the large sized components. It will be also useful for the metals with the low ductility. That is generally whatever the components or the metals which are castable. The castability of that particular kind of metals is good. That can be used one here. Economical type of fabrication, very older one, and the wastages of minimal. Important thing that disadvantages: empty spaces can weaken the material, so you cannot use such a kind of materials wherever the heavy loading conditions are there. Surface finish, that is a rough surface we can get, it is very difficult one to machine it properly. Small parts hard to remove, therefore it is for very small parts it is very difficult one to get the its casting done. Additional hardening usually is needed one, that is the other heat treatment processes are needed for this one. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. These are some of the components which you will find in your automobiles, which are manufactured with the help of casting, specifically by sand casting. The cylinder head, engine blocks, machine tool beds, machine tool frames, gearbox housing, gear blanks, bearing housing. These are components which can be manufactured with the help of the sand casting process. So these are the things which are from my side as far as sand casting is considered one. And here actually I just wanted to tell you, I think it has not been included here. All this stuff I have taken it from the internet actually. Some of the things are from some books, but it's good at it now. So we will stop here, and we will just meet in the next video again. So thank you very much.